our live regroup session of episode 5, HOA Wars in Mexico. Thank you to all of you that have joined, those of you that have subscribed. Melissa, welcome. I see a comment already asking how you can subscribe to my YouTube membership. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link really quick. My YouTube membership does give you access to all the behind the scenes and the receipts. Right now we have 2 member only videos right here. Let me just drop it into the comment section. It is in the description of this video. But with the subscription right now, you're getting early access to the videos, and you are also getting some member exclusive videos. So what I've been doing is every time that I drop a new episode, I drop one for the public and I drop one for the members, and the members get all the receipts. This one, you were able to access all the surveillance footage that I have with the city, both from 2023 and 2024. Hello, Fabi. Welcome. To those of you just joining, I have pinned the comment to the top of the comment section. If you wish to subscribe to my membership, it's $2.99. Thank you to all of you that have joined. Melissa, hello from Ohio. All right, let's just vent together. Those of you, first of all, please let me know in the comment section if you have watched episode 5. I'm hoping I've given you ample time to watch. I know these are long episodes, so I appreciate all of you that are taking the time to watch them. Episode 5 was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, and it had more receipts than I expected. And there's more, but wait, there's more. I have quite a few more receipts on Jimmy that I'll probably be sharing on episode 6. But episode 5, we pretty much just covered, again, my interactions with the city, the receipts, and clarifying that I didn't bribe anybody, okay? I did things the right way when it came to legalizing my home. And that has been something really frustrating for me dealing with. Melissa, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome. I hope you have a ball watching the behind the scenes videos with all the receipts. The unofficial HOA meeting and also episode 5 has some behind the scenes footage. But I think my biggest frustration right now has been, out of that entire meeting, a few things, but when, they accused me of bribing the city, which we all know that's common. If you listen to the unofficial meeting, there was a point in time where my mother asked them, like, how are you so sure? Like, would the city do that? And they're like, oh yeah, and they were so confident. They said, of course they would. Well, of course, and Chanclas was the one that said, oh yeah, claro que sí. Well, you know why she said that and why she has knowledge that they would do that? Because she's been the one paying them all this time. I am 100% convinced that she has been paying them since 2023 and 2024 for both visits that happened to my home. Because in 2023, the city showed up to my house 2 days after I blocked her on WhatsApp. If you guys have watched the first episodes, I gave you a breakdown of the history between her and I. And when I finally finished working on the wall, and I didn't want to do her grass, and she was just stressing me the fuck out, I blocked her. And 2 days later is when the city showed up. And I already had suspicions because they showed up very quickly. If you watch the surveillance footage, you can actually see that the city, the neighbor, Chanclas' house, somebody from her house walks out, opens the gate for them, and then walks back in. And then after they come to my house, they go to their house to talk to them. In both surveillance footage, you can see them dealing with Chanclas' house, with the people in there. And so when they came to my house in 2023, I hadn't really put everything together, right? But now looking back, they showed up 2 days after I blocked her. And she eventually told me that, yes, she sent them because she got pissed off at me for blocking her. In 2024, again, a few days after everything went down with the viral video of her in the blue shirt, they showed up to my house days later. Now, when my attorney spoke to them in 2024, when she was there helping us deal with them, she said, do you know how long I've been waiting for you guys to come do an inspection on several other job sites that I have in these other areas? Okay. When you file a complaint with the city, I'm not saying that the city doesn't go and check. Okay. But for them to show up that quickly, on demand, every time she would get mad at me, that says something. And then if you watch the surveillance footage from 2024, where when they come to my house and I'm talking to them in my front yard. And mind you, I literally could see her. I didn't record this, but I could see her sitting in her front couch, peering out of the window, trying to see trying to listen to what we were saying. And that's why eventually I had the city go into my house. And so when we go into my house, my daughter's on the balcony and she captures footage of the city worker and her walking all the way down the street, exchanging something, and then he walks back into my house. So all of the footage that I have supports the idea that she has been paying them or bribing them, or I don't know what type of connection she has, but they exist. Because for them to show up the way that they did, and they insisted on hanging up the shutdown notice, which was done actually unlawfully. Now that I've kind of learned about the process and what they can and can't do. And even with an attorney there arguing with them that what they were doing was not being done lawful, they still insisted because they had been paid by her to make sure that I was shut down that day. And she needed that because she weaponized that piece of information in the meeting with the neighbors that was held just 2 days later. So in the HOA meeting, when she was giving her version of events and telling the neighborhood, how I'm this and that, she even told them the city has even shut her down. The city shut her down now. And so that gave her more ammunition. And I will say this, she was very strategic about all the things that she lined up in anticipation of that HOA meeting, And so I'm really looking forward to the HOA meeting in 2024. Or I'm sorry, in 2025, okay? Because it's going to go down a lot differently than 2024 did. It usually takes a while for any type of city workers. It's her cup. Yes. It's because, okay, let me back this up. There was one time that I did break the rules. And I think I made a video about this when it happened, when the police came to my house on a Sunday. I didn't know at that time that her husband era un municipal, okay? But the day that we worked on Sunday, when we did the demo of the wall inside and it was really noisy and her renter was freaking out and they called the police, they arrived really quickly on a Sunday. And I remember thinking how odd that was because they arrived so quickly and on a Sunday for a noise complaint. And when the cops arrived, they parked in front of my house, but I never knocked on my door. They didn't say anything to me. And so I always thought that was, but it was intimidating, right, for the police to show up because they called them. And so now as I'm looking back, absolutely, they have connections with the police and with the city. And it's why they were able to apply the type of pressure that they did and have them show up as quickly as they did each time. Because if I go right now and I file some type of complaint with the city that, my neighbor is building without permits or whatever, I'm sure they'll show up eventually. But we all know that Mexico is very, very slow with any type of process that involves the government. So it's ironic to me to hear her accuse me of bribing the city because I'm confident that it has been her. So everything that she has accused me of, if you watch these videos, if you watch the receipt, everything she's accused me of has been like her projection. Down to when she was talking shit about me or shit to me in front of my house for having a TikTok, right? And the entire time, Miss Girl had a TikTok doing the dancey dances. So it's giving projection. Girl, they have to abide by the HOA covenants. So crazy, they are so confused. What are the HOA covenants? Here's the thing, these are people that don't respect the law, which is why it's kind of crazy to me to now see them or looking back, right, as they're like, she needs to follow the rules and she needs to follow the law and do it the right way. You did it the wrong way. Okay. But you are not, you guys are not law abiding people. These are not law abiding people. These are not people that give a fuck for any type of process judicially. None of that. Only when it benefits them. Hello, Ash. Oh, I missed you. Thank you so much for joining us. She just speaks out of her doubts and assumptions. She speaks out of her anger, honestly. And it surprises me. To this date, I don't know if what type of law she studied, if she actually studied, I just know she has some type of bachelor's degree in something. But it really kind of surprises me. Right. If she has the knowledge of these laws, I guess it shouldn't surprise me. She moves so confidently outside of the law because unfortunately in Mexico, it's all about who you know. Right. And that's why I knew that I had no real shot against these people, at least while I was living inside my home. And then let's talk about Jimmy. Let's talk about la caída de Jimmy, or el panzazo de Jimmy. So you guys got, I think this was the first reveal you guys have of Jimmy. This was the first time you've seen what he looks like. You've heard his voice on other occasions in other episodes. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that you guys have seen what he actually looks like. And he is, he's a skinny old man, okay? And fun story, somebody asked me at one point if he had any type of history of doing this and that. Well, I Googled him, and I did find an arrest record for him. And it's not what you would think. It's nothing crazy, but I can tell you that Jimmy is no stranger to issues with the law. He was arrested at one point in time. So quick story time on when Jimmy was arrested. And this is available on Una Denuncia. One thing about Mexico is they be posting these denuncias all over, and they stay there forever. His denuncia is old. I think it's like from 2012. Anyway, he used to be an employee for the light company, for CFE, right? And one day he was doing some type of work where some type of repair. I don't fucking know what he did. But long story short, he moved some cables and he did it wrong. I don't know what the fuck he did. But what he did made it so that an entire gated community, all of their electrodomestic, like washer, dryers, fridge, all of their big white ticket, what are they called? Not white ticket. The big appliances, right? The house appliances, se quemaron, right? There was some type of electrical short because of what he did, that all of their appliances were damaged. So they report it to the police. They track it down to Jimmy. Jimmy gets arrested, and he's tried, and he's ordered to pay back all these people for the damages that he caused to their appliances. So I don't know that it was something, I don't know if he did it on purpose. I don't know if he just didn't know what the fuck he was doing. But that article is somewhere on Google. And so he's been arrested before. So that's why, and I don't judge, I don't judge my fellow felons. So that's why it's so funny to me when I hear them, the condescending, comments they have made about me and how they express myself and how he's like so righteous and she's got to do this and she's got to do that. Like, you talking out your ass like you haven't been arrested before. You know what I mean? This is a perfect example, Jimmy, of you did something that violated people's rights, not rights or like you did some people dirty, right? Maybe not on purpose, but you fucked up, and you made amends and you took care of it. And I hope he did. I don't know what the follow-up was. I don't know if he ever actually paid those people. I just know that he probably got fucking fired. It said that they apprehended his vehicle, which was like a company vehicle and shit. Anyway, Mexico's messy, y'all. Mexico's messy. If you ever end up in some shit, it's gonna end up on the internet forever. Like Chancla's news article, I just know Chancla's hates that news article is up. And if you ever want to sue somebody, Chancla's, it should be that periodista, that website that still has that news article. If that news article was not real, if what they published was not factual, why hasn't she, as an attorney that was threatening to sue me for posting her in defamation, why haven't you sued them that has the article published? If it's not true, the people you need to be worried about, Chanclas, is that news station that has the article still published years later all over, accessible to people like me. Okay, so it's funny how quick she was to threaten to sue me for defamation or for exposing her on my TikTok. But that news article has been up for fucking years. And that news article is very damning, Chanclas. Like, very damning. Like, there's some serious allegations in those. And if they're not true, why have you not, as this Miss Licenciada, that's so fucking sue happy. Sue happy is our new word. Why haven't you sued them to take it down? If that was about me and my family, because can we all agree that news article is very damning? And the allegations in those, and it's not the only one. Okay, if you do a deeper dive, and I haven't published the other ones because she's not a part of the other ones, but there are several denuncias against that family for some very serious allegations. Serious, okay? That is none of my business because I wasn't there. It has nothing to do with me. The only reason why I published that one is because she was involved in it. And it was so similar. It was literally neighbor wars, with another American family. And so it's just crazy to me how she threatened to sue me for defamation and this and that. But this news reporting site that has this article published about you and your entire family and alleges some very serious things, why is it still up if it's not true? Why haven't you sued them to take it down? Why are you mad at me for sharing it on my social media when it's public knowledge? I don't shoot the messenger. It will be so much better for you when you are done with these people. Yeah. It will. Trust me. I have loved putting these videos together for you guys, but they are very emotionally exhausting. Imagine, it's exhausting putting them together. Imagine living them, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon that I'm done with these people. This is going to go on for years. Cases out here drag out for years. What did she do? So the news article that's published about her family, allegedly for legal purposes, I've shared it in a few of the videos and it's on my TikTok and stuff, but long story short, her and her family a few years ago had some issues with one of their neighbors. Very much just neighborly shit, like trash issues, water leaks issues, and I don't know. Her family just pulled up to this other family's house. The family was an American family that was renting a house that was in front of one of their relatives' house, Chanclas' family. And long story short, the incident that was reported to the police is that her and her family showed up impersonating a federal police officer and trying to kidnap the husband of this family. They had firearms with them. They threatened them, and Chanclas was there, and she got down and like tried to rip the lady's necklace off of her neck and some shit like that. Like very I don't know what the word is, but very very ghetto things. Okay, not very licenciada vibes. Okay, it wasn't giving demure. It wasn't giving a respectable family or respectable name. It was given, that type of shit. So again, the only reason why I brought it up on my platforms when I found it, one was because it was so similar. It was just neighbor beef, right? And then two, when I saw that she was directly involved in it, corriente is the word that I was looking for. Thank you. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Gente corriente. I'm sorry. And we would never. And you know what? That shit that's in the news article matches the few altercations that I had with her in my house. That's why I believe that article. Aside from the fact that it's up for a reason and like the circumstances are so similar. So similar. And based on my experiences with her, I 100% believe everything that article has written about her because of what I experienced. You guys all saw the way she came to my house, the way she talks, the way she expresses herself, the way she threatens, the way she carries herself, the things that they do, like throwing dog shit and shoving shirts in my vent, like gente corriente. It matches everything that's on that news article about her. That was the article that caused her first fight when you got my... Yeah, yes, it was. When I first got a hold of that news article, it was definitely stressful, you guys, okay? We was scared. I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, these are crazy people that are going to come to my house and they're going to pull up on me the same way that they pulled up to this family. I realized what type of people I was dealing with. And I mean, let's keep it a buck. Like, I live in Mexico. I live in Mexico where and once I started putting all the dots together, the husband works for the police. She has connections with the city. There's a reason why her family walks around like they own the town and they can do these things. And they're not, I don't even know if they didn't have a prison time for that shit, So anyway, moving on from Chanclas, because I know she really hates it when we focus on that, particularly that news article. I do have some additional receipts that I will be showing in episode 6 of some DMs that I honestly, Chancla, if you're watching this, stop trusting random accounts on Instagram, okay? I know that she has engaged with a lot of accounts on there. Some of them have been undercover besties or undercover instigators just trying to ruffle shit up. And she had some some private conversations via Instagram DMs that are really kind of funny. And it gives you further insight into all of this. Anyway, I'll share those in episode 6. Hi, Benito. You've been through so much, and even though it's made you stronger, I'm asking Diosito publicly, when will your suffering end? I want to follow your schooling. So I used to have this mentality of like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Why does this happen to me? And there was something that my mom said to me one day that really stuck with me. She said, Mija, it's not that it's happening to you, it's happening for you. So ask yourself, why is this happening for me? What is this happening for us? So it's to teach you something. And it's all about perception. And I won't lie, like sometimes I do still have in the moment like the victim mentality, like why does this happen to me? When does it end? When is it enough? And then I stay there for a little bit, and then once I get up, I'm like, okay, this is for something, right? So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna make something good out of it. All these circumstances with my house and like all these things that I've gone through with her is what pushed me into law school. I would have never left my comfortable, little castle over there in my Starby world with my studio. I was so comfortable, and I would have never moved. I would have never gotten into school. I would have stayed complacent, because that's kind of what we do. Like, we don't move unless we have to. Change is uncomfortable. And so although these things are very challenging, very stressful, very emotional, very desgastantes, it's shaping me, it's molding me, it's pushing me for growth, or at least that's the way that I choose to see it, instead of focusing on like, when am I going to stop suffering? Because I wouldn't even label it suffering. Is it stressful? Yes, but I really just see it like it's life. It's life happening to me. I feel like when I breathe into the mic, I forget how good of an audio this is. What else did we cover in episode 5? Jimmy. Yeah, so Jimmy, I know Jimmy hates me. As much as Jimmy has said, like, what did he say to my mom? Me vale un qué? What did he say? His little quote that he told my mom, like, su hija me vale un comino. Was it comino or colminos? Cominos, whatever. Lots of cominos, right? And he's like, he pretty much said, like, I could give a fuck less about your daughter. I just know he gives many fucks. I don't know. I know I have never shared that I had that video. Okay. Nobody had seen it. Well, I lied. Maybe a few of you on Patreon have seen it, but I had never made that video public. So I do suspect that when that video got to him or her, because I know it did. Okay. I know they're watching this series. I know they watch all my videos. I know they're pissed off that I'm exposing everything. And I just wish I could have been a flam when he seen that video of himself on episode 5. El Jimmy no sabe dónde se metió acosando familias. El karma llegará pronto. I believe that too. It ain't gonna be me, right? I'm just gonna respond legally. But I do believe that he's eventually gonna bark up the wrong tree again, because that and the reason why I shared that video, although aside from being funny to me, you can watch the clip in episode 5, but it shows a pattern. It shows a pattern of abuse. It shows a pattern of depriving homeowners of their rights. It shows a pattern of how he treats people like he owns everything, and he infringes on our property, like on our property rights. You don't have the legal authority. You're not even a real fucking HOA. You haven't gone through the process to get your legal certification to even be able to hold people accountable. And then even if you did, the way that you do it is wrong. And it's an abuse of power. And I saw it. The first time that I saw it was when he unplugged the bouncer at my daughter's birthday party, with kids still in the bouncer and this bouncer hanging over the fucking pool. Okay. And that was when me and him that was when I saw, and I remember being so upset, because I'm like, okay, if I broke the rule, if I went over midnight by 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour or two, fine me. Okay. That's why we have the fines. That's the consequence that you impose on the homeowner. You don't just go and take matters into your own hands. You don't just go and unplug the bouncer. So I started to see quickly how he moves in a way that, like, you have to do this or I'm going to do this to you. And that approach is very hard on people like me who already have a problem with authority. Okay? I do. I have a problem with authority. I've had it since I was a child. I'm really trying to change my ways. But not only do I have a problem with authority, I have an even bigger problem with authority that conducts themselves out of the scope of the law. A bigger problem, especially out here, right? And just because when I say I have a problem with authority, I'm talking about my past events, right? Where obviously I broke the law because I didn't respect authority. I didn't respect law. And I'm really trying to do better. In this whole instance with my house build, I would be the first to tell you if I just said fuck it. I did say fuck it when it came to the rooftop. And I shared that in one of the episodes where I said, you know what, by then my mentality was very much like, fuck it, they're going to sue me, let them sue me. But the entire project was not just like a fuck the law. You know, I'm just paying my way through. Like, Jimmy really thinks he met the Annie from Salt Lake. He thinks he met Anna, okay? And he didn't. He really fucking didn't. And I think that's sometimes why I would get so frustrated. Like when my mom first got pulled into this. Look, the first conversation I had with my mom about this, I don't think I've shared this with you guys yet. I was at the beach with the kids. It was right after I had exposed the administrator, okay, on TikTok. And my mom called me and she was like, are you somewhere that you can sit down? Like, and I just knew. I knew que me iba a regañar. But she had pretty much gotten the version of events from the group chat, okay? And so once I was removed, they said a bunch of stuff. So she came into the situation with their side of the story. And so everything she was saying to me, you know, she worded it differently, but it was like I had just done this and that, you know, she even said you've always had trouble following the rules, following the law. You have to follow the rules. And I remember feeling so misunderstood by my mom. And we actually had like a little, me and her had a disagreement that day, okay? And I went home crying from the beach because I felt like in that moment, my mom saw their version of events, right? Obviously, when she came down and she had the meeting with them, her perspective changed on things. But I remember during those few weeks feeling so frustrated and misunderstood and unseen because the events that they were portraying was that I was just this arrogant, cocky neighbor that said, fuck all of you. I have money and you don't, and I can do whatever the fuck I want to my house and you can't do shit about it. And that I had ignored every indication of them telling me to stop, that they had told me from the beginning, and that I just pretty much did whatever the fuck I wanted to do, right? And so my frustration in this whole thing has been that they painted me like Anna. You know, that's some shit Anna would have done, you know. But I'm not Anna anymore, okay? I want to say entirely rehabilitated because sometimes she'd be coming out, but like I moved different now, you know. So I felt like, damn, Jimmy, you really gave me no fucking credit for you know, the innocent. I can't think of another word, but I feel like it was just an innocent like lack of knowledge, you know. If I had known then what I know now, of course I would have gone through the entire process differently. But it was one of the growing pains of learning about how things work out here. And a lot of people were like, how could you not know? Even in America, you know. Bitch, I was never a homeowner in America, okay? I was a fucking renter my entire life up there. I had no knowledge about homeowners or permits or how this works or dealing with the city because I've never owned a home, much less in Mexico, okay? So this is going to sound very silly, not so, but like stupid almost, but I just really thought like anything goes in Mexico. I thought I owned the house, you know. He said it was cool. I'm not hurting nobody. Like, I had zero understanding of these systems, not only here, but in the U.S. My mom even told me, she goes, once, you know, we were already deep into this, and she was like, Mika, how could you not think that you needed a permit when, like, even here, I had to get a permit. I had to ask for a permit to build a carport in my garage or to build a carport in the driveway. And she goes, and I got denied. And I was like, Mom, I've never owned a house. Like, I had no knowledge of homeowner responsibilities, rights. I just bought this house and moved into it. And I saw everybody else doing it. You know, I saw all my other neighbors that had expanded, that had built, that had fucking windows in their backyard. You know, so I just observed and I moved accordingly, right? The fact that there was another house that happened to be my aunt's in current construction, they also didn't know they needed permits. And guess what? They were born and raised in Mexico. And they have multiple properties in different states. Okay. They were also building without a permit. Why? Because that was the norm in our community. Everybody that has expanded in our community did it without a permit from the city or the entire neighborhood. And I can tell you that because I've lived there the entire time. And in no meeting was it ever mentioned, hey, house number 6 would like approval so that he can extend his kitchen into the backyard. Never. Okay, so this was the norm. This was a norm until they had a problem with it because I went too high up for their liking. But here's my problem with that is that you said I could do whatever I wanted to the back. Now I understand. Nobody knew that I was going to go up this high. But you saw me dropping you saw the 3rd floor going up, okay? We didn't drop the 3rd floor in one day. Okay, it took us days to put up the walls. Para echar la losa, like they had to put the big old sticks and shit. Like that took a while. Do you know how long it took us to build level 3? At no point did he ever say, hey, you went up too far. Hey, can you give us a layout of what you're going to do? What else are you going to do so we can tell you if we like? Nada, he just sat, and bad on me for not speaking up last meeting. But the next meeting, I'm going to bring it up. And he's going to say that's not true. All right. The receipts. Somebody bring in the receipts, please. They definitely took advantage of me. They took advantage of my lack of knowledge. And that is how they tried to threaten me, right? That is why they were so comfortable threatening me. To this day, they have not sued me. And they've been threatening to sue me for I don't know how fucking long. How did this plot twist occur where I'm the one that ended up suing? 100% I thought somebody would have sued me by now. Chanclas ain't sued me. The HOA ain't sued me. Jimmy ain't nobody. Because do you know how much time and money and effort a lawsuit takes? Even if you are just paying for people to do it for you, it still requires a ridiculous amount of effort. Like I am exhausted. We are almost 8 months in. And maybe you know what's funny is maybe Chanclas, if she sued me, she probably could get it to move faster because she has friends there and connections, so I just don't understand, like, why have you threatened for so long but never done any of those things? That's also a frustration of mine, that we were cornered with these things. We were threatened with these things. We were intimidated with these things. When my mom left that meeting in May, she should have told me I felt intimidated. Jamie, there's a reason why they're so confident that it's going to go their way, this and that. Like, she starts thinking out of the box too. And, because she was born and raised in Mexico. And so she's firsthand seen the corruption and how court cases work. And even in America, we do changes to our homes without permits. Yeah, I think it's a common practice. And, when I started my construction, I never had the idea to go up 4 floors. When I started, it was just simply 1 floor for the kitchen and the room. And if I would have left it at that, I would have never had a problem. But, opportunity came and I was able to keep building, to keep expanding. My business was growing. The kids were growing, so I was like, why not? If I have it, why not invest it into my home? The best thing I can do with my money is invest it into my real estate. And, that house is worth quite a bit now. Like, I will eventually get the payoff of that investment, one way or another. But I don't know. The whole thing is kind of crazy that this is how it's turning out. The HOA is not a legal entity. They are the ones engaging in fraudulent. Yeah. And that's been another frustration, that how are you coming at me for permits and you didn't do it right and you didn't do this when neither did you. You still aren't doing it right. At least now I can say my house is up to code. My house is within state regulation, within permit regulations, all that shit that you guys are crying about, it's there now. And and I know that their anger, especially Jimmy's, is he sees it as she was able to get away with it. She got away with it, And I don't see it that way. I think that life has a way of putting us where we're supposed to be, and the energy that we put out is the energy that we get back. So I believe that things turned out at least when it comes to that outcome, positively for me, because I really didn't do this maliciously. Based on how everything happened, I think that was the fair thing to happen, or to need to happen. You know what I mean? You don't want to sell and be done. Sometimes, yes, Laura, yes. I have thought about it. We have considered it. I don't know that I'm ready to. I don't know that I want to. Honestly, that there are days I wake up and I'm like, fuck, let's just sell it and start over somewhere. Let's just sell it and build a new one. Or let's just sell it and buy a new one. But I don't know. There's something still holding me back from doing that. I can't entirely tell you what it is. I could sell it if I wanted to. There's absolutely nothing legally holding me back from selling it. But I think I'm very emotionally tied to that house, and I still have the hope of retaining it. But I don't even think that I could see myself. And then I think, what's the point of retaining it? I don't see myself ever feeling comfortable to live there. But also, things could change. Jimmy's not going to be around forever. He's going to kick the bucket soon. Just kidding. HOA administration will change. Things will change. It's not forever. And I think that's kind of why I'm waiting. I'm like, time has a way. A lot of things can change with time, So I kind of just want to see where things are going to go. And if I sell my house, I want it to be because I want to sell my house. Not because I'm being forced to sell my house, or because, because of them. Like, I want that to come. I've always said that. Like, I want whatever decision that I make to come from my own free will. So, yeah. How much money did you invest towards the construction that at the end you had to tear down? I didn't have to tear down anything. If you get a freestanding house, no HOA, life would be easier. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever buy in an HOA community. And that was my starter home. That was my first home. When I bought it, it was perfect for what I needed, but we quickly outgrew it. And yeah, after dealing with this HOA, I would never buy another HOA home. It does have its benefits, safety for one. Having the houses that close together can be annoying, but also can be comforting. But I think at this point in my life, I've outgrown HOA communities by far. So yeah. Diosito's watching. Diosito's teaching you how to use a paddle boat right now so you can live it up in the yacht later on. I believe that, or I like to believe in it at least, that this is for something. I'm taking something away from it. And when I look back, like I said, I would have never thought about getting into law school. My number one motivator was at the time, is I want to understand. I want to know what I'm up against. I hate feeling blind when I go into these situations, and not just with chanclas. Okay. There's been a lot of situations where I'm just like, I feel stupid because I don't know how it works or what this means, or, I should know by now. I've been living in Mexico for almost 7 years. Why don't I know yet? And it's because I'm not educated. I don't, as much as I try to adapt, and you can, and I have to a degree, but there's things that you can only pick up from going to school, or experience. Like right now, I'm learning the hard way. I'm learning the hard way through this experience with the HOA and with chanclas and all of that. I would like to learn in the classroom instead, so that when I'm faced with the real situation, it doesn't have to get to this extreme. Because if I had known back then what I know now, my outcome would have been different, and it would have spared us a lot of the suffering that we went through, a lot of the stress, a lot of the battles that we're having to, deal with right now. So I do believe that all of this is serving some type of purpose, even if it doesn't make sense at the time. You know what I mean? What else did we cover in episode 5? I need to make like a list when I make these lives, because my memory is not fresh from the video when I dropped it on. I think it was Monday. For those of you that watched the video or watch the receipts, the unofficial HOA meeting, or if you're just playing catch up, feel free to drop any questions below in the chat. We can fill in the gaps to anything that I may not have covered in episode 5. Episode 6 is going to bring us to current day with the legal case and the new legal case, because there's a new case in Vallarta now with the vandalism to this house. And sell merch with Chunkless' drawings. I remember when all that stuff happened in February, I did make a shirt that said perros envidiosos. Well, it said envidiosos and it had little paw prints here, to give the idea. I just know they hated me for it. And here's the other thing, okay? My neighbors, and especially Chanclas, take my social media way too serious. And they judge me based off my social media. My social media isn't entirely who I am. Like, I do feel like I'm a different person in real life than social media. Like, the Annie that you see on YouTube, TikTok, all that shit, like, that's not the, So they don't understand. This is what I generate money from this, right? So it was never personal. It was never personal. It is still not personal. Like, as I'm dropping this YouTube series, and it involves a lot of people, a lot of neighbor voices are on there. It's never personal. I'm just monetizing, And I think they pay too much attention to my social media. I do believe if I didn't have social media, if social media wasn't in the mix, it would not have escalated to the degree that it has escalated, because the spotlight has made them very uncomfortable. But it was honestly, I felt like my only weapon, the only way to defend myself. But I always feel frustrated because I'm like, you guys pay too much attention to my social media. Like, my social media should not be a part of this HOA meeting. It shouldn't have been, point blank. If I decided to go to all of their social medias and look for shit, I promise you I would find it. And I remember saying that, like, why do you guys look for me? And maybe they don't. Maybe I came up on their FYP. But even then, if my content bothers you, like chanclas, for example, when I first posted chancla, or the first video that I made about chanclas, right? Episode 1 of Neighbor Wars on TikTok. I didn't mention any names. I didn't post any faces. I didn't violate anybody's privacy rights when she threatened me for the first time. She simply did not like me talking about the situation at all. It made her feel some type of way. But I was in my right. I can get on social media and tell stories. I didn't post you. I didn't post your voice. I didn't say who you were. I literally labeled you neighbor A, neighbor B. I didn't post a picture of your house. It was just me telling a story about something that I experienced. And it wasn't entirely focused on chanclas, right? So the first text that she sent me when she threatened me and she said, you better be careful what you're posting on social media. You have to know the laws and this and that. And when she came to my house and she was like, you can't post me this and that. You shouldn't be posting that. The things that you post. I didn't post anything that she had any right to reclamarme or that violated any type of her privacy or any privacy laws. Like, I have a right to post on my social media. And that is also where I was coming from, where I was like, I don't owe you explanations for what I post there. And I have a right to post whatever I want to post. In fact, had she not made such a big stink about it, I probably would have never posted her. So I kind of think, like, did you want me to post you? Because you kept drilling into my head. You can't post me. You can't post me. You can't post me. Okay. Well, you told me I couldn't so much that eventually I did it just to show you that I can. And that I have the right to. And that you can't keep coming to my house and thinking that you have the right to come and tell me what to do, how to do it, and threaten me in my own fucking house. Threaten me over my social media, or threaten me because you don't like the color of the fucking wall bricks and shit like that. That's really it. That is where the power struggle began between both of us. Her trying to tell me, like, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to intimidate you not to do it. And then me over here with my American Karen ass, I have a right. I have a right to post whatever the fuck I want, because I do. I do. Did they mess with you this much when Walter was living with you? No. In fact, not at all. We never heard from Jimmy when Walter was there. And Walter was there from, not very long while we were in construction, but he was there when we started. And he was there up until September. So we started in July. He was there from July to September, but we never heard from him. We never heard from them when he was there. We never heard from them when it was really loud and messy. When they should have said something, there was nothing. There was no complaints when we had those blocks You guys saw the pictures. They went all the way down the public sidewalk for weeks. You guys saw the text message where Jimmy gave me permission to have him there. The text message where I asked him to have a bunch of dirt and gravel dropped onto the street. And he's like, yeah, just get it moved, quickly. So when it mattered, they didn't say anything. Like, that's when you could have put up a stink. And that's when I also could have stopped without taking such a big L. Like if that shit would have happened to me when I was in the middle of level 2 or 3, even 1, I would have never gone up 4 floors. That's my frustration too. Like, why did nobody say nothing? Why did nobody have a problem? Why is a problem now? Oh, okay. Because Chancluda threw her berrinche? Oh, okay. Got it. Why do they all call you Karen in video and text? Because Chanclas thinks she fucking knows me like that. That's always bothered me. Okay, Ana Karen is my legal name. Okay, that in Mexico, it's common that people are referred to by their middle names. In fact, when I was young, my family called me Karen as well. When I went into school in the U.S., it's customary over there that you're always addressed by your first name. So people started calling me Anna, and then I was always Anna. Once I got deported, I said, new country, new me, right? So I decided to just rename myself. I introduced myself as Annie to everybody. But they call me Karen because they have a copy of my house deed and it lists my legal name. Most of the neighbors call me Annie because that's how they know me. That's how they've met me. That's how my contact is on WhatsApp. My name is Annie. Jimmy and Chanclas are the only ones that took it upon themselves to address me as Karen. I don't like it. I don't know what made them so comfortable to call me out of the name that they knew me as, that they were introduced to me as. And you know what? I'm just to say this, Chanclas. When we're at the meeting next year, I've called her Chanclas so many times that it's probably gonna stick. It has stuck at this point. And when I go to the meeting next year, I just want you to know I'm probably gonna call you Chanclas. In this meeting last year, I didn't like that they were calling me. She called me señora. And she was, es que la señora. Bitch, I ain't no señora, first of all. You're the señora, okay? A señora is a married woman with kids and shit. Me, señorita vibes forever. I may have 5 kids, but Google says a señora is a married woman. Okay? That is not me. Please, stop. Stop labeling me something I am not. I will take all the other labels, that I'm a thief, tebolera, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But I will not accept that señora label. Never, ever. Never. Anyway. Los chismosos making you mula. Yeah, I mean, I know they don't like that, but I gotta pay this lawsuit somehow, She doesn't like that you proved her wrong. Oh, she hates it. Her ego. And you will see it in some of the DMs that I'm going to share with you guys in episode 6. Yeah, they are very interesting. And 100%, these are the type of people that care a lot about what other people think and say. And how she looks, And all of these things she's done is not a good look for her, unfortunately. Because they don't want to respect you, they dig. Make a Tumblr that says Karen to knock them down in court. Yeah, it definitely comes down to they don't have any respect for me. And they feel disrespected by me. So, to each their own. I still call them by their names. I've always called them by the names that I knew them as. I don't call her licenciada. I don't. I don't call him ingeniero. I don't. I've always just referred to them as their names. Jaime y Andrea. That's it. But now Chanclas. Now Chanclas has stuck because by the time I get to the HOA meeting, I will have spent like a year and a half of making content about this. And, she told my mom about the nickname. And my mom me regañó. She was like, amiga, ¿cómo le...? My mom she didn't get it, right? She didn't get it because she doesn't get TikTok culture, okay? She doesn't get nicknames. And she didn't get that I was trying to protect her privacy in the beginning when I gave her a nickname. Because she was like, how are you going to call her Chanclas, mija? Like, me estaba regañando, right? And I'm like, well, Mom, I couldn't call her. If I had called her by her real name, she'd be mad too. She literally threatened and she told me, you better not ever say my name on social media. It's on one of the videos during Christmas when we got into a fight when the kids were selling Christmas candy. She said, "Más te vale que no digas mi nombre." Remember that, chanclas? So I was trying to be respectful, and we gave her a nickname, and she was still mad at me. I can never win. Anyway, she really hates that you can monetize. Yeah. She hates that I have public support. And you can tell in some of the comments that she's made, the side digs about my social media and stuff. Again, in episode 6, the screenshots that I'll drop there kind of reiterate this too in a few comments that she makes. But she says things like all the things that she's done, she even has it on her social media. Like, she can't believe. The one thing is, when I come across people that don't like me and that see me in a certain light, they have a really hard time accepting or understanding how I have support publicly on social media, despite the things that I've done, and despite the fact that I talk about those things that I've done, especially to somebody that's been born and raised here, where, you know, people like to cover that shit up. Like, look at her, Exhibit A, right? She will never admit what her and her family did to other family because it looks bad. Right. These are the type of people that will lie to cover up their fuck ups because they care about their public image. Then you get somebody like me that talks openly about my fuck ups, embraces it, builds a platform out of it. That makes them uncomfortable because it's not supposed to be like that, especially in this culture. You know what I mean? All right, besties. We have a few more minutes until we wrap up. We're getting close to wrapping up. If you have any other questions, comments from episode 5, drop them into the chat. I think we covered a good amount of what I wanted to regroup on. I feel like these live sessions are kind of necessary. And I wish I could do them like sooner, because usually when I post my videos, it's fresh, right? I've just gone through everything and I have so much to say. But I also know that these are really long videos, hour-long videos that I have to give you guys some time to catch up. So I do like the schedule that we've developed of dropping a video the beginning of the week, giving you guys a few days to catch up, and then regrouping together on a live. Episode 6 will probably drop between Monday and Tuesday, and that will bring us to present day with where things are right now. And I think I might give you guys, I'm entertaining the idea of a house tour in episode 6. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it. But episode 6 will kind of move to present day. It will cover our move. It will cover the legal case, and hopefully bring us to the incident with the vandalism here. But I always end up making these videos so much longer than I expected with receipts and stuff. So it might take us 1 or 2 more episodes to get to current day. So anyway, I wanted to thank all of you guys that joined. Those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I will be dropping, I will keep the schedule that I have right now of dropping a member only first, and then dropping a second video publicly for public subscribers. I will eventually start incorporating giveaways on here for my subscribers as well. I'm just trying to build up a little bit more numbers so that I can even out the cost, have it be cost effective as far as giveaways. So if you have subscribed, thank you so much. We are just kind of ramping up and slowly like re-entering our YouTube era. But I do have a lot of plans for content on here, independent of the HOA series. So thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining us. Our next live will be held next Thursday, same time, and we will cover episode 6. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, drop your comments, and we will catch you guys